Trump officials shared military plans on a private app. We've all seen it. Possibly one of the more embarrassing political scandals in recent memory. On Wednesday, The Atlantic published a transcript of the text messages showing that Secretary Pete Hegseth detailed US military attack plans in Yemen in a Signal group chat and accidentally added the magazine's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg. Well done. It also showed that JD Vance uses emojis to celebrate airstrikes. I know it's not funny, but God. Almost ironically, in a way that makes me want to believe in the magic of the universe, the original bombshell article exposing the situation dropped almost exactly a decade after Trump and pals absolutely rinsed Hillary Clinton for using a private email server while serving as Secretary of State. But her emails! Hegseth himself, the man behind the mishap, slammed Hillary on Fox News in 2016, saying any security professional, military, government or otherwise, would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. Okay, they've obviously done a similar thing, maybe worse or not. Let's have a look at it. Let's compare and contrast. What were Hillary's emails really, and how do they stack up to the new Signal scandal? Back in 2016, Clinton's campaign was rocked by revelations about her emails, leading to an FBI probe and Trump's infamous lock her up chants at rallies. Trump won, but he never did, in fact, lock her up. Instead, when she lost, she went wandering in the woods. I don't know if you remember that, but I do. Now, Hillary is pointing out the hypocrisy of Trump's national security fools who once slammed her for mishandling classified info. On X, she shared the article, added an eyeball emoji, and said, "You've got to be kidding me." When Hegseth was asked on Monday whether classified information was shared, he said nobody was texting war plans. So here are some screenshots of them texting war plans. Did Hillary do the same? Let's have a bit of a recap of what went down with Hillary's emails. It was very much a saga, so let's compare. In 2005, the State Department made it clear with the Foreign Affairs Manual that employees could only use personal email accounts for work if they handed over those emails to be stored on government systems. They also banned employees from sending sensitive but unclassified information through personal email, with only a few exceptions. The mystery around Clinton's emails kind of grew because an IP address linked to the clintonemail.com domain was registered to someone named Eric Hotham on February 1st, 2008. However, no public records for that person exist, and it's possible the name was just a typo for Eric Hotham, a former aide to Clinton during her First Lady days. Interestingly though, the IP address for clintonemail.com, along with others registered under the same names, all point back to Clinton's home in New York. In 2012, Hillary Clinton wasn't the only one in diplomatic service using a personal email account, but it seems someone else got in trouble for it. According to a 2012 report from the Office of the Inspector General, Scott Gratian, the US ambassador to Kenya at the time, was reprimanded for using private email, among other issues. Let's skip to 2014. President Obama signed the Federal Records Act, requiring each agency to keep proper records of all their agency's activities, decisions, and essential transactions. The discovery that Clinton's emails weren't properly recorded at the State Department unfolded in two different stages. According to a timeline from the New York Times, first, the Congressional Committee investigating the Benghazi attack requested all relevant emails from the State Department. The department then asked Clinton to provide all her non-personal emails from her time as secretary. Hillary handed over 55,000 pages of emails later that year. The State Department also reached out to other former secretaries of state, asking them to submit their government-related emails for preservation. In early 2015, the New York Times reported that, in mid-February, Clinton handed over more than 300 emails to the House Committee investigating the Benghazi attack. It wasn't until March 3rd, when the New York Times broke the story, that Clinton's use of a private email address became public. Clinton's team argued she had acted within the spirit of the email laws. But under mounting pressure, Clinton requested the State Department release her emails. However, the department cited the time needed to review them and said they wouldn't be able to release them for several months. Now, we just had to have a quick sidebar into the Benghazi attack, because obviously it comes up a lot with the email saga, but what actually happened? 13 months after Gaddafi's fall in 2012, Benghazi was chaotic, filled with guns and only partially protected by a local militia and unarmed contractors. On the night of September 11th, heavily armed men stormed the US compound, opening fire and setting buildings alight. Hours after the compound was attacked, a nearby CIA annex was hit by a mortar strike. US Ambassador Christopher Stevens and Foreign Service Officer Sean Smith died from smoke inhalation, while ex-Navy SEALs Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty were killed at the annex. Then Defense Secretary Leon Panetta stated there was no intelligence warning of the attack and US forces were far too far away to intervene. Bad situation, but back to the emails. In September 2015, Clinton admitted to ABC News that using two separate email accounts was, quote, a mistake. She explained, "What I did was allowed, but looking back, I should have used one account for personal emails and another for work. I'm sorry about that and take responsibility. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible by releasing 55,000 pages of emails and turning over my server." FBI Director Comey later revealed that 110 emails and 52 chains contained classified information, including 7 chains with top secret special access program material. He stated, "There is evidence they were extremely careless in handling sensitive classified information." Throughout 2015 and 2016, more emails would be released in batches. July 2nd of 2016, Clinton meets with the FBI for a 3.5-hour interview as part of the investigation into her use of a private email server while leading the State Department. Then on July 5th of 2016, FBI Director James Comey announced that he wouldn't recommend charges against Hillary Clinton for using a private email server as Secretary of State. However, he did say Clinton and her team were extremely careless with the classified information. But that wasn't it. Just 11 days before the 2016 election, Comey announced that the FBI would reopen the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails from her time as Secretary of State. He explained in a letter that in connection with an unrelated case, new emails were discovered that might be relevant to his investigation. Comey said that the FBI would review these emails to see if they contain classified information and determine their relevance. Donald Trump reacted quickly, praising the FBI's decision at a rally in New Hampshire. He called Clinton's actions corruption and said it could be the moment justice will be done. Corruption. I'm not good at it. I really want to get good at the impression, but I'm not. On November 6, 2016, Comey sent a second letter to Congress announcing that the FBI had finished reviewing the emails. The investigation confirmed the FBI's July conclusion that no prosecutable offense was committed by Clinton or her team. Clinton's campaign communications director, Jen, expressed relief, saying she was glad this matter was resolved. Right? So that's a pretty light overview. Obviously not a super detailed summary, but you get the gist here. Hillary was using a private email, mostly on late nights and weekends, and some of the emails sent or received were later reviewed and confirmed to be classified. But she was not found criminally liable for the incident. One prosecutor who worked on the case said, "The problem was the State Department was so screwed up in the way they treated classified information that if you wanted to prosecute Hillary Clinton, you would have to prosecute 150 State Department people." The reason this is a big deal to begin with, both the Hillary emails and the signal texts, is because government officials are supposed to use official channels for sensitive information in order to avoid hacking or spyware from enemy nations. It seems obvious, right? If the Russian government can easily hack into your Instagram DMs at the White House, you've got a problem. But look, here on this earth at this time, it is hypocrite city, population, the US government. Because the Signal debacle is not the only time Trump and his cronies have mismanaged sensitive information. Under President Joe Biden, special counsels were appointed to look into the handling of classified documents by both Trump and Biden administrations. One for his time as president and one for his time as vice president. Mike Pence, who we all remember, Trump's former vice president, quickly returned the classified materials he had, so he faced no charges. Trump, however, was a bit more stubborn and refused to do so. I wonder why. In August 2022, the FBI raided his Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida, and charged him with crimes for holding on to classified documents. Look at these photos. He literally had them in boxes ready to be sold to whoever, I guess. Man's filing system is a joke. There's like shit on the floor. My goodness. But after Trump won the 2024 election, a court tossed out those charges, as well as a separate case related to the January 6th Capitol attack. Yay! Justice. It's not giving fascism at all. To compare the emails again. Yeah, at least the Benghazi documents weren't just in a shitty box at a mansion in Florida, you know what I mean? But to this day, you can still search Hillary's emails for yourself. I've been snooping around in there. It's kind of fun, but it's genuinely just not as interesting and scandalous as you might think, or as the media led you to think in 2016. And look, I don't think you need to be some sort of expert to compare accidentally adding a journalist to a text conversation about war plans and being shit at email and then admitting fault. Am I taking crazy pills? Am I taking crazy pills? When it comes to the Signal group chat, what happens now is pretty up in the air. A poll by YouGov found that Americans think the Signal leak is just as big of a problem as Hillary Clinton using private email servers when she was Secretary of State. So, will public pressure lead to anyone getting the sack or, I don't know, facing any justice? It's unclear if the Republican-controlled Congress will start properly investigating. Republicans have mostly backed Trump, so it's unlikely they'll want to look into the Signal leak. But they kind of have to. Democrats in the House are reportedly trying to push a vote to force Trump's administration to hand over records, but they don't have majority. While some Republicans are concerned about the leak, few seem ready to challenge the president, because, fascism. My question is, will anyone in the US government just stop using weird shit to contact each other? Is the internal system that bad? This is a country that, let's be real, seems to love a war. How have they not figured this out yet? How does this keep happening? Your guess is as good as mine. But when it comes to Hillary's emails versus the Mar-a-Lago boxes and the Signal chat, I'll leave it up to you to decide who you think did more damage here. But the bottom line is, this is a mega fuck up. Whether you're talking about Hillary's emails or the Mar-a-Lago debacle or the bloody Signal chat, it all comes down to the same fundamental issue. When it comes to handling sensitive information, the US government has a serious, reoccurring problem. The hypocrisy, undeniable. The mismanagement, staggering. At this point, it's less about the specific details of each scandal and more about how consistently these politicians fail to learn from their own mistakes. Will anyone be held accountable? Will anyone fix the broken system? Will anyone just use the internal servers provided to them? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We do 5 videos a week on everything happening in the news around the world and on the internet. I think I got a bit worked up doing this one. I think I got a bit hot. I think I just got taken back to 2016. Remember that? What a year. Everyone still likes Drake, We thought things were normal. I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy in my hand. Man, I shouldn't do that. I don't like Drake. I don't like Drake. Don't worry. See you tomorrow.